The Apple Watch Series 4 is going to go on sale in just a few days, but we figured our full review isn't quite ready yet. We have one of these things. Let's share some first impressions in the meantime. And we have to start with the watch's design. It's a little bit thinner and a little bit bigger, and that ultimately means the Apple Watch Series 4 is quite a bit better than any version of the Apple Watch we've ever tested before. A few things to note: this isn't exactly a full edge-to-edge display. There's actually quite a bit of bezel running around this rounded screen, but it's much bigger than the sort of squared-off display we've seen in previous models, and it's really nice that the ceramic and sapphire back doesn't curve as dramatically, so it doesn't push so much into the meat of your wrist. That means you're actually looking at a more comfortable profile overall and a cleaner look, which actually counts for a lot. Historically, Siri has gotten a bad rap, and I don't know that it's always deserved, but I think it's clear even after my limited time with the Apple Watch Series 4, it still needs a bit of work. That said, there are some things to like. There's a new raise to wake feature that lets you raise the watch to your mouth and just start talking to Siri. That has worked remarkably well. Send a message to Sherlyn Lowe.
What do you want to say?
Sup, brah?
Okay, I'll send this.
Okay, do that. Cool. That said, it does require a persistent internet connection to work well, so there are going to be times where coverage is bad and you're just not going to get an answer. I should also point out that we've been using Siri for years and it's still not the best at figuring out exactly what you're trying to say. I've sent a few botched messages so far, so hopefully that gets fixed sometime soon. No, tell me something nice about your girlfriend.
My girlfriend is very nice. She is short, so I feel needed because I am tall.
One of my favorite features of the Apple Watch Series 4 and technically watchOS 5 is the walkie-talkie. I've been using it for a little while now. It's really, really nice to just be able to hold down a button and drop messages off onto your friend's wrists. I kind of want to have every remote conversation this way, but I don't know enough people with Apple Watches, so we'll see how that goes. One of the bigger additions to the Apple Watch experience is fall tracking, which I haven't tried yet, or should I say haven't successfully tried. Basically, if you trip and fall, stumble, whatever, the watch should be able to figure it out and basically check on you to make sure you're okay. If you're not, if you don't respond to the watch's prompt within a minute, it's going to start calling emergency responders, which you don't want to do accidentally. Interestingly enough, Apple has engineered this model to work only when you're actually falling. If you're slumping down on the couch or if you're just sort of doing this all day, that doesn't do it, which is nice. And of course, there is the big one, ECG, which is not ready yet. Apple says it's going to go live sometime later this year, but I did get to try it earlier today, and it does seem to work remarkably well. You're meant to keep your hand on a table or on your knee to minimize motion, and it does produce what looks like a pretty accurate looking sinus wave that you can actually also export as a PDF to send to your doctor. Now, it sounds a little bit creepy, and that's because it kind of is. The thing to keep in mind is that no one else has access to that heart rate data. Your insurance premiums aren't going to go through the roof because your insurance company isn't going to know about it until you specifically tell them. Even though you can't take your own ECGs for at least a little while longer, there are a few extra heart features that will come in handy. For example, Apple Watch will tell you if your heart is a little too high or a little too low. These are important data points that you should have, especially if you know you have a heart condition. So I appreciate Apple bringing that extra data to the forefront. Obviously, there are a lot of things that we didn't get to, but we will get to them in our full review, which will be available shortly, unless I don't finish it because I've hurled myself off a hill trying to see if fall tracking works. So, we'll see.